At its simplest, fasting is going without food for a spiritual purpose. It's not just going without eating. This isn't what the Bible would consider fasting. It is always accompanied with prayer. Our motives for fasting with prayer are also important. In Matthew, we see Jesus criticizing those who fast to get commended by those watching. It is a private action for seeking God, to pray specifically for an issue, like Jesus mentioning, only by prayer and fasting can a boy be freed of a demon. Where there aren't lists of rules regarding fasting, we see that there are principles through the Bible where fasting is actually part of our worship to God. While Jesus was criticizing the faster who does it to get attention, he says, when you fast. Jesus wants us to be people who use this sacrament to seek our Father deeper. Sometimes partial fasts and sometimes full fasts can be good and healthy parts of our worship. Several Old Testament prophets fasted for 40 days, like Moses and Elijah, similar to when Jesus went into the desert for 40 days. The principle I understand from fasting is partially in the name of the sacrament itself and in Jesus' process into his temptation. The word for fasting is a literal translation of going without eating, but the etymology of the English word is to be steadfast. Jesus went into the desert after his baptism. Baptism was him entering or being immersed, particularly into his ministry. This was followed by fasting or securing himself in steadfastness and prayer for what he was about to do. What followed was a 3-year ministry which the world is still talking about today. I see fasting as a dedication and a sacrifice to see what God can do. From personal experience, fasting will make you realise how much of life seems to revolve around meal times. By taking these out, you dedicate your focus outside of yourself. But others benefit from fasting from other things. More traditional Christians than me use Lent as a time to go without. Maybe we can reclaim this as a time to focus on God rather than just giving something up. Daniel modelled a 10-day fast, some are now calling the Daniel fast, by only having water and vegetables, though this sounds more like a healthy diet to me. But it's about taking the focus off of yourself and putting it on God.